Order, I say to the Labour front bench, I have called Rahui Katene and I expect to be shown some respect, some courtesy. Rahui Katene's.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Local Government. What did he mean when he described the Māori Statutory Board as inherently divisive and should never have been included in the legislation setting up the Auckland Council?
The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Mr Speaker, thank you. I meant that the Auckland Council reform was designed to ensure that Auckland had a good governance structure and met good governance principles of being democratic, effective and efficient. When this issue was discussed by Cabinet in 2009, I recommended against the Māori Statutory Board as it did not meet these principles. It was my view that the Auckland Council would be in the best place to make decisions on how they engage with Māori and mana whenua and involve them in the Council's decision-making as provided for in the Local Government Act and the Resource Management Act. Cabinet decided instead to go with the Minister of Māori Affairs option of a statutory board. As I predicted, this option has been divisive, as was seen with Aucklanders' reaction over the last week.
Rahui Katene.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. How is it inherently divisive to have an appointed Māori Statutory Board to deal with the management and stewardship of natural and physical resources?
The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
It's inherently divisive, Mr Speaker, because we've seen the debate over the budget and the functions that has occurred between the Council and the Statutory Board and the fact that they're seeking a declaration.
Rahui Katene.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does he agree with the purpose of the Māori Statutory Board outlined in the legislation that, quote, the Board must assist the Council by promoting cultural, economic, environmental and social issues of significance for mana whenua groups and mātā waka of Tamaki Makaurau, and ensuring that the Council acts in accordance with statutory provisions referring to the Treaty of Waitangi, unquote, and if not, would he not consider it to be inherently divisive to oppose legislation that government has already debated and passed?
The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Yes.
Speaker.
The Honourable Shane Jones.
To the Minister. When will the Minister accept accountability for having voted for this piece of legislation which contains an unworkable model and obnoxious level of rate rises to the Aucklanders for a very narrow, privileged group of iwi leaders?
The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Mr Speaker, in fact, the rate rises, as provided for by the accounts audited by the Auditor General, show that they were greatly reduced. Well, no, I'm explaining. So the rates were going to be over 6%, and the audited accounts showed it to be under 4%, so they were reduced. Also, there are significant reductions in water, averaging 20% across Auckland, and I'm happy to take responsibility for those savings.
Phil Twyford.
To the Minister of Local Government, does he take responsibility for the Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Act that comes under his portfolio, that he introduced to the House and that he voted for, and if not, why not?
Point of order, the Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
I think it is worth your while considering whether or not the last two questions, in fact, have relevance to the question that was asked, which was very specific in asking about the inherently divisive nature of the Māori Statutory Board.
Order. I'll think I'm in a position to deal with the matter. I accept the previous question, supplementary question asked was a fair way from the mark, but I believed it gave the Minister such licence in responding to it that I didn't want to deprive the Minister of the opportunity to have some fun in his answer. This particular supplementary question, what I don't know as Speaker is whether the legislation to which the questioner refers may or may not be the legislation that deals with the issues in this question, and therefore it seemed to me as Speaker appropriate to leave it up to the Minister to deal with the question as asked, and if it in fact doesn't relate to the primary question, the Minister is perfectly capable of responding that way, and it seemed to me better to leave it directly for the Minister to deal with when I, as Speaker, can't know the facts of the matter. The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Mr Speaker, yes, of course, and I'm happy to point out, because I think that member may have missed it, that at Cabinet I took a paper saying that the Statutory Board was not something that I supported. That was made public. That was made public in December 2009. I'm surprised that Mr Twyford's only caught up with it.
Question number 6, the Honourable Darren Hughes.